That's right. Every time you hear this little tune, it is the next episode of the Local Lifestyle Podcast with me, Cuervo, all brought to you by TLC Properties. They are the ones putting all this on and helping me do so. We made it to episode 11, yet another one. And this one is called Don't Be a Fool, Support Our Schools. And I already got a giggle already. Today, I do have two special co-hosts, little guests. I have Natalie Murdock, the executive director of the Foundation for Springfield Public Schools.
That's me.
And then I also have the development director, Tina Pham. Pham. All right, I got it. Okay, cool. Last names are always kind of nerve-wracking if you haven't said them out loud before. You're like, am I doing it right?
Even first names now.
Yeah. I met a guy the other day. His name was like, I want to say it was like Torpedo. It was something really weird.
Why not?
Nowadays, it's 2020. Anything can happen. So once again, thank you guys for coming on to the podcast. This is also the first episode ever, episode 11, that I am not at the TLC corporate headquarters doing the podcast. We can say thank you to COVID because it's changing everything up again, but you guys are nice enough to have me out here. We are 6 feet apart. Yeah. We are on opposite sides of tables, and we've made sure we're doing our part with all of that. But it's really cool to actually be able to bring my equipment and know that I can set it up almost anywhere. Yeah. And it looks cool.
Yeah, we're glad you could come.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys were wanting to have me in here. So real quick, Natalie, why don't you let everybody know exactly, if you want to give a little rundown of what the Foundation for Springfield Public Schools,
what we're all
you guys
about.
Are about.
So the foundation is independent from Springfield Public Schools. We're a completely separate organization, but we work very closely and partner on everything that we do. Our sole purpose is to provide resources for our district, and that looks a variety of ways. We have been around since 1990, and from the beginning, one of our big things is that we provide classroom grants and opportunities through grants for teachers and staff throughout the district and all kinds of projects, and I'll let Tina talk to you a little more about that program. But in addition to that, we also provide resources through about 150 different funds that we manage. So those are temporary funds and permanent funds and scholarship funds that benefit folks in a variety of ways. And we work directly with donors to set up guidelines. So those funds are for specific purposes. And that's about $5 million that we're managing and helps us provide resources each year to our students. And then we really just serve as a connector. So we're here to take donations for the district. So we get donations for all sorts of needs because there's just so many. We have 25,000 students in Springfield, and, they come to school every day with a whole list of things. And so we have great educators, and the district does a really great job at providing. But what we're able to do is kind of fill that gap where there is just a little extra need, or give that teacher the opportunity to do something really unique that they wouldn't be able to do, go on that extra field trip or have that additional experience or that additional classroom need. So we're really here just to help bridge that gap and kind of be that connector between our community, who we really believe wants to donate and wants to give back to our schools, and then we can kind of connect them to what the different needs are throughout the district.
That's cool. So it's like a filter.
Yeah,
you're making sure that people that want to donate, and it's going to get divvied up, like you said, to the right.
We really serve
places.
as a conduit.
That's cool. And you said 30 years. Or not 30, about 20-ish years.
29. Since 1990. So somebody else do the math.
Yeah, I got a calculator for that one. But no, that's
been
awesome.
around a long time. We've awarded about $17 million since we started.
$17 million.
We raised over $1 million just last year, and really just all sorts of needs. We have been working with McBride Elementary to build a really amazing, inclusive playground out at their school that will, allow students of all ability levels to play together. And that was nearly a $500,000 project. So there's just always something really special and additional that we can do. And, we can't do it without the help of our partners. And so that's kind of what we're here to support.
Well, that's awesome. And then, when you said how much, about $500,000 for the playground, I don't think anybody thinks about that. Like, hey, this is a really nice park. the time and effort and the fundraising that goes in. And just think, this park was $500,000.
Yeah.
You know, I used to fall off at things a lot as a kid. So, you know, it also, those were fun.
Yeah.
But that's great to know that there's at least in this community. I lived in Wisconsin for a little bit. I was doing radio, and we do, there's always a lot of fundraising that radio likes to do and help. We did, it was like $148,000 for one of the local charities there in just a matter of 3 days.
Yeah.
And so when you get stuff like that, or you get those big donations from like one person, or, you know, they're anonymous, it really makes you kind of sit back and have some faith back in humanity and be like, man, people still do care.
Yeah.
Because nowadays, sometimes people can be a little jaded, and they don't want to be like, I don't think anybody, I want to, but I don't want to.
Yeah.
It takes one person to get that ball rolling and be like, okay, we can change this.
Yeah.
So that's really great to hear that, you know, you guys have been around since 90, and things have been, sounds like they're going really, really good, which is great. Because, I mean, our education system, if we didn't have that, I mean, I don't know. I'm grateful that the schools I went to back home in Chicago, I was living in the suburbs, they were some of the best memories that I think I can have. And like, there's always a distinct smell though for the elementary school that I was in.
There are some,
and I don't know if it's universal, but like schools have just a distinct smell.
Yeah.
I would say they're universal because they're doing all sorts of things in there, crafting, learning.
The glue, Elmer's glue. That's one familiar smell that I think
the versions of glue that they have now.
The versions. Yes. We won't even get. I mean, if you can break it down to me, I would love to hear about the different versions.
Oh, there's so many. There's not enough time.
Well, good to know. Maybe we'll do a full episode on just
on glue.
That might be taken the wrong way, but you know, it could be interesting. So, Tina, you are a development director.
Yes.
So, what do you do?
So primarily, I do a lot of fundraising for our programs that we do, event planning. Pre-COVID,
since events have been halted.
And just a lot of donor relations. And since we're a small staff, we all kind of help each other in every aspect. But those are some of my primary roles.
So you're like the fundraiser party person?
Yeah.
That's a good way to. Yeah. And we're in the middle of kind of our fundraising season. One thing that we do is our grant program, our back to school grant program. So Tina's main focus right now really is raising money for that grant program, which will then in September, when our teachers come back, we will award grants to them, kind of as they get their year started. And we know that their year is going to look a little different now. So we're really working to try to figure out how we can meet some of those new needs, and understanding that they're still trying to figure out what it's going to look like, because everything is changing pretty rapidly. And, you know, we're really proud of the work that the district's done. And, there's just no easy answer to this whole COVID situation.
And it's so new to everybody. I mean, even...
and constantly changing.
Yeah. I mean, you know, we were good for a few weeks, and then things are changing again. And even with this podcast, you know, I've had to deal with a decent amount where we had a few episodes. You know, Michael Underlin, Captain Springfield, he was an over-the-phone interview. Thank goodness I have what I have. I can do phone calls, and it turned out great. But it's very weird to do a podcast when I'm so used to sitting, you know, with people in front of them over the phone. So that changed the game up for what I had to do. The leasing side of things with TLC, it changes everything. You know, now this new city ordinance. What I'm curious about with this city ordinance is with these masks. If I'm out to eat, I think the rules change. Like if you're eating or drinking, you don't have to have your mask on, because if not, it's going to get really messy.
It's true. You're going to have to do lots of washing.
Exactly. But you know, it's once again, it's everybody. You see everybody now doing it. It's weird to see a community kind of pull together, do what you have to do. Same with what happens with you guys here. So and like I was on your Facebook page earlier, and you brought up the grants. So how do you award just one? Like grant, or is it like it's multiple to different schools?
They're multiple. Any certified staff within Springfield Public Schools can submit a grant to us. And last year we awarded over 100 grants to the district.
Wow.
And the total was over $260,000, I believe.
And those grants are for them for supplies, whatever they need it for.
It's really all across the board. If they can dream it, they can ask for it. Right. So, I mean, we visit classrooms that have done, podcast.
Yeah.
Sequiota, the librarian at Sequiota, he wrote a grant for podcasting equipment and is podcasting with his students and teaching them about how to podcast. And
I saw that picture.
Sit in on one of them. Yeah, it's really great.
Yeah,
so
I think it's on your website.
Yeah.
Yes.
I saw that because I was like, I'm such a nerd with it. I'm like, look, microphones. This has got to be a podcast.
I mean, it's that thing where it kind of takes that unique teacher that's willing to kind of go above and beyond and think a little bit out of the box, and that's something that they wouldn't normally be able to do, and not something that every librarian is doing, but it was something that he was passionate about, and really, like, that's a future for his students. Like, that's a potential career for them.
I mean, I'm one of those people that went to school
it's amazing for them to get to start learning about it in elementary, and so that's just one of the types of projects that they're asking for.
That's really cool to think about, like, just since you said you're like not a middleman, but you're like that filter.
Yeah.
You're helping to get this money and making sure that these, teachers, these libraries and stuff can get these cool interactive things, which the podcasting thing I think is really neat just because of who I am and what I do.
Right.
Because when I was a kid, real little, I always wanted to be a radio person. That was like my weird, that or a taxi driver, like, the kids' books where they're
you
like,
get to hear all sorts of stories.
Point at what you want. My mom's like, you always wanted to be the taxi driver. It's like, I'm glad it didn't work out that way. Not that there's anything wrong with it, just because now, like Uber, it's all different.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
It is really neat to know that these grants and stuff are going, because like you said, it could change that kid's life for, actually having the setup and all that. And that's really neat to think of. So that is cool, because I have a lot of friends that are teachers as well. I have a buddy who was just made principal of one of the local schools, and a couple their coaches and stuff like that. Parkview, schools like that around town. Because within Springfield, the cool thing with TLC is we have over 27 properties.
Yeah.
So we're
You're
spread
all over town.
all over town, literally. And you've probably helped out almost at least a school in every school district. I would almost guarantee that's happened.
Right.
So it's not just like, hey, you only give money to this part of town. It goes everywhere. It's going to spread across the board. So you get asked a lot of questions while leasing. What school district are you in?
Yeah.
Right.
And that's a preference. A lot of people may, hey, well, I went to the school, I want my kid to go to the same. Or whatever the reason may be. But that's also just a really great feeling to know that you guys are spreading the love everywhere to help out and potentially change a kid's life. And that's, I think, now during what we're going through, that's very huge. We need, because we don't even know how this is affecting the youth yet. But I'm sure they'll get through it, and knowing that there's things out there like this, it makes me feel good, especially with podcasting. When I heard that word, I got all excited.
We were really excited when we saw that grant also, because we hadn't seen anything like that before. And so that's just the kind of stuff that we see, just these amazing ideas. And we're like, oh, that's a great idea. And yes, we can help fund that.
Yes.
That's what we're here for. And we really want, all of the staff to know that that's what we're here for. And even though we've been around a long time, this is a huge district, and I think Springfield's one of the top employers. Springfield Public Schools is one of the top employers in the city. So they have a lot of employees. So it's hard for everyone to know about what we do. So, we're constantly kind of trying to share that message with the staff as well, because, we don't have all the great ideas. They have all the great ideas. We just want to help them by providing that funding. And, we're just constantly amazed at the things that they think of, and just the unique ways that they're trying to reach students, because I think that at the end of the day, kids are different. Like, things are changing so quickly, and there's so much more competition to engage a student. When I was in school, there was no technology competition. There was no smartphone. There was no, so you didn't have to work as hard to engage the students. And so, for us, when we see,
and we really see that when we get to do grant visits, we get to go in there and see what all they're working on and the cool things, and they walk us through what they're doing. And some of the robotic grants that we've been able to visit, I am blown away by what all they can do, and they can make their
third graders coding. So that's like, I'm like, well, okay.
Yes, they're coding.
They're like, oh no, we can teach it to go this way and that way. And we're like, we'll just change it. And we're like,
I'm 34 and I wouldn't be able to do that.
I know. Yeah. So, and some of those are, those kinds of programs, especially in the elementary school, a robotics club in an elementary school, that's just started because a teacher wanted to give their extra time and ask for the money. So, we love to see those kinds of projects come to life.
Right.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, I had a erector set. Growing up, Legos, those kind of the Connects. I had that growing up.
We still do Legos. They're just very advanced now.
Yes, it's way out of my ballpark for
and
those.
We even get requests for those super advanced Lego sets that are a couple hundred pieces, and they're like, "Oh yeah, our kids could have this put together,
and they can build legit robots with that stuff." It's amazing. Yeah.
Well, good. That makes me feel way better about hey, you guys are coding at what age?
Yeah.
I couldn't even do that. It's sometimes like with my parents. My parents are like 70. Okay, so computers and all of that, they were in a different era. And then, I was around for AOL, the dial up, somebody picks up the phone on accident, you got to start all over again. It's just, I feel like I'm getting to that point in my life where like I'm so far behind technology where it's like, some of the young ones at work, they're talking about all this, weird stuff. I'm like, what is that? I sound like the grumpy old man is going to say, get off my lawn eventually.
I feel you.
That is really cool. I haven't been to a lot of elementary schools in town. I haven't. I've spoken at a few for the radio events that I used to do, just like not a show and tell, but career day. One of those, and kind of give them the idea. But that's so much different than a teacher requesting and just asking. And I mean, most people in my mind and a lot of friends that I know, sometimes they're just always afraid. So that's why it's good that even with this podcast, I'm going to put it up everywhere, to hopefully, spread the word of what you guys do for any teachers that are out there that may say, I'm struggling, I don't know what to do. Maybe they aren't aware that you guys exist. I would hope that it's been getting around. But, it's Michael Scott once said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. It really wasn't like Michael Scott said it and then like Wayne Gretzky underneath it because he's the one who originally said it.
Right. Yeah. He said it after somebody else said it.
Yes. And he
made it famous.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's all about who made it famous, I guess.
So, but no, this is great. I'm so glad that, my marketing director is the one who kind of told me about you guys, and I'll do the research and shoot that email out to you. And you guys responded pretty quick. And that means that it showed me that you kind of were excited, like, hey, that sounds cool.
Yeah. We always love the opportunity to get to share what we do, how we impact the district, and trying to get more people aware that we're here.
Yeah. So. And that's the thing with Springfield, coming from a place like Chicago, I wasn't in a culture shock of a state when I got here. It was just like, where's all the buildings? When I was getting off the highway, it's like, it's a city. Where's the buildings?
All the buildings and all the people?
Yeah. But it's still, it's a small town vibe. And a city population. Is how I've always explained to friends and stuff back home. But it's really cool, especially with your Facebook. Like I said, there was an event on there. Now it looked like it was like asking like a donation push right now for dresses for every girl. Is that something you guys are doing, or is it still going on?
Talk to him about our crowdfunding platform.
That is actually our crowdfunding platform. And that one in particular is for Hillcrest High School.
Okay.
The applicant is the 2019-2020 Teacher of the Year, Courtney Dameron, and she saw a need in her school for some of the girls that, may not be able to afford to have dresses. She got the community around there to donate formal wear, and she keeps track of all of them in the school, and she really wanted to be able to rent them out to students or loan them. Students don't have to pay for them. But one thing that she noticed is that in order to keep them in good condition for more generations to use them, she needed to be able to take them and get them properly cleaned at the dry cleaners. And so that is where she is trying to fundraise to make sure that they have enough funds to do that and to maintain it for this coming year's formal events.
That's an awesome idea.
It is a very awesome idea. And she said that attendance numbers even went up when they started this for their proms and homecomings because students were able to have access to the attire that everybody else would wear.
Yeah. Well, we don't want kids not to go because they don't have a dress, because prom is an important part of school too. I mean, we recognize that these after school activities are an important part of that process and that experience. And
it's something I think every kid should be able to experience. And this, honestly, this is one of my favorite podcasts so far, because the more we're talking about it, these are such awesome things that you guys are helping make happen that sometimes I don't even think about, like, you don't think about somebody not being able to have a dress for prom. It's just like in your mind, it's a given. I almost didn't go to my prom, but I mean, I got dumped. That's what happened. So I don't want to go. Yeah. So I asked one of her best friends.
You don't have any grants for that.
Yeah, no. You don't have a grant for heartbreak?
No,
not yet. Okay, maybe I'll start that one. Yeah. You know? But no, that's really cool because I saw that one on there and I was like kind of looking into it. I was like, well, that's pretty neat. Yeah. And it's just amazing to know that some of these teachers and the teachers, if you're listening, give them a call, give them an email. How would they contact you?
They can call the foundation office or visit our website and email any of us, and we will try to get you the answer to your question as soon as we can.
Yeah, our website is supportsps.org, and the crowdfunding platform is a really great opportunity. It's different than our grant program because it's a crowdfunding platform. It's there to the project's there, and your friends and your family and your community members can get on there and donate. And it really just creates kind of an additional way for, teachers and staff and, coaches to fundraise. We really wanted to offer that opportunity because it's there all year round. We're a platform that there's no admin fee, so there's no money coming out of their project. They're getting all of that money. And it's local and it stays local, and we're here to serve them. So, it's a great opportunity for teachers and support staff to think, ooh, I need that. I wonder if anybody would donate to that. So they can put that project up there, and then, folks in our community can browse through and see just a lot of really kind of neat and creative things. And it's open all the time. So it's different than our regular grant program, which has, a beginning and it has a close date. And then, not every project is funded, and it goes through a pretty rigorous allocation process. We get, up to $500,000 in requests a year through that program sometimes. So, it's very hard to fund everything, but we have been able to see some really great things come to light because of that program. And really, it's something that we've done since the beginning of the foundation. Like, we've always funded classroom and school needs through a grant program. It just evolves and kind of changes throughout the years, but it's a great opportunity for our community to give back and to really see how those dollars impact our school as a whole. Right. And it's a great opportunity for SPS staff members to get some help with some additional needs that they have.
Right.
Now, as far as your staff, how many? Because I did look online and it looked like there's
three of us.
There's three.
So there's only three of you, and you're making all of this happen.
We're trying to. We have a really great volunteer board of directors. Okay. We have 21 people on our board, and they are amazing, and they work really hard to help us, and we're very dependent on that support.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we're only three people. There's only so much that we can do, but we also we serve a really great district, and
we have great support from them.
And they're doing such amazing things. It's a very large system, 25,000 students, and the fact that we have in Springfield opportunities for students through the choice programs that the district offers, we are supporting the first performance and fine arts school in Springfield Public Schools. Next year, we're partnering with the district and Springfield Little Theater, and I think for 50 lucky students will be chosen through a lottery system to attend a performing and fine arts school for an entire year.
They'll get to learn over at the Judy.
The Springfield Little Theater Education Center. Yeah. Springfield has a program at the Discovery Center where students go to school there every day that year at Bass Pro through the Wolf Learning Facility. And we're very fortunate to have a public school system that has those kinds of opportunities.
Yeah, that is huge. I wish I could almost go back in time and try to get in that performing arts school.
I know, right?
Maybe
when we went over,
I would have been begging my mom with my name.
Can I come to school here too?
Yeah. I may be way out of the age range, but just I want in on that one.
Yeah, it's amazing.
But no, that is awesome. Are there any events or anything that you guys are excited for? Now, granted, everything's kind of changing right now, but are you maybe going to kick it on Facebook or do some virtual stuff or anything exciting coming up that you're kind of looking forward to? I was actually just
looking at all of our events coming up just out of excitement this morning. Our normal banquet is held in April, but due to circumstances of COVID-19, everything got moved, and we'll be celebrating the district virtually the week of August 31st through September 4th. That first evening on the 31st, we're going to have a premiere of our big portion of the event, which will feature the Mystery Hours, Jeff Houghton.
Yeah.
He's going to
trying to get him up on here too. We'll
he's awesome. So he's going to MC it, and
he's hilarious.
Yeah,
we're
going to have a virtual event on the 31st that evening, and followed by a live or a virtual auction.
Virtual live.
That's the new thing. So it's a virtual auction. So we have a lot of really awesome goodies that will be available for auction that night. And then throughout that week, Tina will be celebrating other things that we have going on in the district, some awards that we'll be giving away. And it's totally different than what we're used to, but it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, I'm sure. I've been watching a lot of stuff that's been happening. It's all virtual now, but people make the best of it, and it's kind of cool, you know. And you guys having Jeff on there, I mean, he's funny.
Yeah, he'll be great, and we'll get a chance to hear from our last year's Teacher of the Year, Courtney Dameron, and then the newly crowned Teacher of the Year, Armando Johnson, who's a teacher at Central. And so we'll get the chance to get to know him a little better too, and then recognize some awards that we've given out through the district. So I think it'll be a really great night to, really just kind of sit back and celebrate everything that we've done in Springfield Public Schools, and work that the foundation has done, and some honors that the district has received. So I think we kind of all need a little something to celebrate right now.
And it seems like, and I'll say this before you get to that point, you guys seem like you've been doing an amazing job, not just this year, but just from everything that we've discussed and the research that I've done. It seems like you guys are doing a really amazing thing here, and that is something to be huge and proud about. Because you'll get your satisfaction knowing that you've done a lot, but then like being able to even just think about that, maybe the 4 kids that were impacted, or just even one, or however many that were, touched by everything that this money has been going to. You're changing lives without even, I'm sure you know this, but that's got to be a really great feeling. And that's awesome.
Especially after we get to do those visits and we're driving back to the office, and you just think about everything that you did. Letters that you sent out, envelopes that you packaged,
aren't as exciting.
But you're talking about every meeting I've ever been to has been the most exhilarating time of my life.
So it's kind of seeing those things come to fruition. And even this morning, our program coordinator Elise was opening up a thank you letter from one of our scholarship recipients. Just the recipient was just so thankful for that funding, because it's going to make a big difference in them being able to continue their education, and it's kind of those types of moments when we're like, okay, that's why we do this.
That's worth it,
and it's great.
And
this is why people give, and this is why people support it, and we just really want to be able to share that message.
That's something great and amazing. I'm glad that you guys are doing what you're doing, because you're kicking butt at it. These scholarships and stuff. Even where I work at TLC, we do house a decent amount of college students and stuff like that. So that's. We have a lot of them, and who knows, maybe some of those kids from the past had been given a podcast, something another, and got them into their journalism or broadcasting that they want to do. Like it's one of those where just what you're doing now, it'll keep going. It's going to impact that person, and that'll last for a lifetime, and maybe it impacts them enough to do the same. And that's awesome. So I'm very glad that it all started through email, everybody listening. It all started with a simple email, and just reaching out and, like I said, wanting to limelight you guys and the Foundation for Springfield Public Schools to talk about what you do. We've talked about a lot, the amount of money that you guys have built up and handed out to teachers, to schools and stuff like that. You're changing Springfield, and if maybe somebody listens to this, because this goes everywhere. We have so many platforms you can listen to this on: Spotify, Google, Apple, and then we're on YouTube now as well. That hopefully maybe this could even impact somebody out of state or out of the city. So that's a really cool thing that you guys are doing. I just want to say thank you so much one more time for taking the time out of your day to sit down here and chat a little bit with me about it.
Thank you.
So I know you guys are busy and we got to get back to it. So once again, I'll just say thank you so very much. And before we get out of here, your Facebook page, if they want to look it up on Facebook, what would they search?
Foundation for Springfield Public Schools. And it's virtually
it's at Foundation
everywhere.
for SPS across the board on all of the platforms.
Okay. So if you did like what you heard today, you can reach out. If you are a local teacher within the school districts here, anything like that, reach out. They'll see what they can do for you. I'm sure after everything I've heard today, you'll do everything you can to try to help. So
we certainly will.
All right. Well, Natalie and Tina, thank you so very much for sitting down for the Local Lifestyle Podcast, episode 11. Don't be a fool. Support our schools. I really do like that name.
I do too.
Well, thank you very much, ladies. You guys have a great rest of your day. Once again, this was the Local Lifestyle Podcast with me, Cuervo, all sponsored by TLC Properties.